There's a moment in everyone's life that changes everything. And the wildest part is it doesn't come with fireworks. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't come with someone telling you this is it. No, it comes in silence, in stillness, in the quiet, tired voice in your soul that says, I can't live like this anymore. Not another day pretending you're okay when you're not. Not another day making yourself small for people who never saw your light. Not another day ignoring your gut, the one that's been screaming for change. This is the moment. The moment you decide that everything is going to change starting now, because you see life doesn't transform in the huge moments. It transforms in the small, brave choices you make when no one's watching. When you wake up and finally tell yourself, I'm done settling. You weren't born to just survive. You weren't born to shrink into someone else's comfort zone. You were born to live wildly, deeply, boldly, but somewhere along the way you forgot. They taught you to doubt yourself. They made you believe you had to earn your worth. That love had to be chased, that you weren't enough until someone else said so. They were wrong. You were never broken. You were never too much. You were just surrounded by people who couldn't see your magic. So now what? Now you stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the approval. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. Fear doesn't go away. You just stop letting it drive. You feel it and move anyway. That's courage. That's transformation. That's the real flex. Because the moment you start choosing you not perfectly, but consistently, life starts responding differently. The people who only loved your silence will fall away. The situations that kept you stuck will feel unbearable because you've outgrown them. And it will be hard, yes, but it will be real. And real is always worth it. There's a voice inside you that's been buried for too long. The one that dreams, the one that believes, the one that wants more. Let that voice speak again. Let it scream if it needs to. Let it rip apart the lies that have held you captive. Let it become louder than the fear. You don't need anyone's permission to change your life. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You need to decide today, because nothing changes until you change. Not the world, not them, not the situation. You, that doesn't mean you become someone new. It means you return to who you were before the world told you who to be. The version of you who was free, who trusted their gut, who wasn't afraid to speak, to try, to fall, to rise. That's the real you. And they've been waiting for you to come back. So ask yourself, what are you done tolerating? What have you been pretending is fine? What would happen if for once you bet on you? Because I promise you there's a version of your life that you haven't met yet. A life where you love deeper, love harder, wake up with peace, and go to bed knowing you didn't abandon yourself, not today. And that life, it's not out there. It's on the other side of a decision to stop living in fear, a decision to stop settling for less than you deserve, a decision to start being honest, brutally, beautifully honest with yourself. People might not understand your growth. They'll question it. They'll resist it. They might even leave. Let them. Because anyone who can't handle your healing has no place in your destiny. This journey won't be perfect. You'll have days where you slip, days where you question everything, days where the old version of you tries to sneak back in, but every time you choose truth over comfort, you win. Every time you say no more to what drains you, you heal. Every time you speak your truth and stand in your worth, you rise. You don't have to do it all today. You just have to take the next brave step, then another, then another. And slowly, beautifully, you become the person you were always meant to be. Not because you chase validation, but because you remembered who you were. So let this be the moment, not the end, not the beginning, but the moment you decide that from this day forward, you show up different. You choose peace over people pleasing. You choose growth over comfort. You choose you over and over and over again. Because when you do that, everything changes. Your mind, your heart, your life. This is your moment. The quiet, revolutionary moment that no one else sees, but that you will remember for the rest of your life. Because this is where it all shifts, where your past no longer controls you, where your wounds become wisdom, where your fear becomes fire. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not too late. You are right on time. You are not empty. You are full of power, waiting to be claimed. So claim it, stand in it, own it, and let this be the day everything changes. You made the decision. You chose change. You looked at your life and said, I can't keep living like this. And that moment, as quiet as it was, it lit the match. But here's the truth most won't tell you. Healing doesn't feel like a sunrise. It feels like a storm, a tearing down before a rebuilding, a crumbling of everything you thought you were, the path to becoming whole again. It's not a straight line. It's not always beautiful. It's raw. It's painful. but it's also real, and real is where your life begins again. You're not crazy for missing people who hurt you. You're not weak for wanting comfort over change. You're human. And healing honors your humanity, not just your strength. Some days healing looks like crying on your kitchen floor. Some days it looks like laughing at something for the first time in weeks. Other days it's getting out of bed when everything in you says, don't. That's healing. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to prove it. You don't need permission to take it slow, because healing isn't a performance. It's a personal revolution. And sometimes the most powerful thing you'll ever do is keep going when no one's clapping. You will grieve your old self. You'll miss the version of you that didn't know what betrayal felt like, the one who loved with wild innocence, the one who didn't carry this weight. But don't let that grief fool you. You're not going backwards. You're shedding the layers that were never really yours. The lies, the guilt, the conditioning. You were not meant to stay the same. You are meant to rise different. There's a beauty in the breakdown, because in that space, the messy, painful, confusing space, you meet the parts of yourself that were buried beneath survival. You meet your truth, your voice, your worth. The part of you that no longer begs to be chosen, the part that chooses herself, even when it's hard. So let the healing be messy. Let it be slow. Let it look nothing like anyone else's journey, because your story isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be yours. And every scar you carry, it's proof that you faced what tried to break you and lived. You don't owe anyone a timeline. You don't owe them strength when you're still rebuilding. You don't have to be over it because they've moved on. This is your life, your healing, your soul work. No one else gets to write the rules. And maybe the most powerful thing you'll realize is that healing doesn't mean forgetting what hurt you. It means learning to live with it without letting it define you, to take the pain, the lessons, the growth, and build something beautiful out of it. Not for them, not to prove anything, for you, because you deserve to feel whole again. Not when someone else says you're ready, but now, today, in your way, in your time. And when you start to love yourself again, not perfectly, but truthfully, you'll notice things shift. You won't chase the people who breadcrumbed your heart. You won't explain your value to those who refuse to see it. You won't shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Because the you that's being born through this process, she remembers who she is, and she's not here to play small anymore. Healing also means forgiveness, but not the kind that excuses what was done to you. It's the kind that sets you free. You stop carrying what they were never willing to hold. You stop waiting for them to apologize so you can finally move on. You give yourself the peace they never gave you. And that is what power looks like. Some people will not recognize the version of you that rises from this. They will call you cold, distant, changed. And they're right, you have changed because you had to. Growth requires separation. Healing requires boundaries. Peace requires saying no to what used to feel like home but was really a battle. And one day you'll wake up and realize you haven't thought about them in weeks, that the pain doesn't punch you in the chest like it used to, that you're laughing, really laughing, and it doesn't feel forced. That's not forgetting. That's healing. Healing feels like space, like breathing again, like looking in the mirror and finally seeing you, not the version they shaped, not the one fear sculpted, but the real you. You may not have all the answers. You may still hurt sometimes, but you're no longer abandoning yourself. And that changes everything. So here's what I need you to remember. You are allowed to start over. You are allowed to stop explaining your pain. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to stop carrying people who never showed up for you. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be loved by yourself first. And when you give yourself that love, that compassion, that care, you don't just heal. You become whole, not because someone came to save you, but because you saved yourself. One day, one breath, one choice at a time. And that kind of healing, it's sacred, it's powerful, it's yours.